What's up my friends, welcome back to the channel. Dry January is coming to a close, and whether you want to stick with it, didn't even start, or if you want to continue with the good habits you picked up at the beginning of the year but want to cheat a little bit, this video is for you. I created a pre-batch base for cocktails that's versatile enough so you can use it in zero-proof drinks, low ABV option, or foolproof cocktails. I had the idea for this technique 10 years ago, and when I was preparing for this video and I was thinking about this, I was like, whoa, that's been a long time. I kind of forgot how long it's been since I had this idea, but it's true. Back when I was working in Quebec behind the stick, it was illegal to pre-batch cocktails, and I remember vividly wanting to put a milk punch on the menu when I first started making some, and this is the way I was able to do so. I was making a milk-washed cocktail without the booze, and then I was adding the alcohol à la minute when I was getting a request for the cocktail. So that way I was able to put my milk punch on the menu, but I soon realized that it was much more than that because I was also having bottles of milk-washed cordial that was tasty on its own, complex and velvety, and I was able to use that as a base for my mocktails instead of just making boring lemonades with beautiful garnishes. So it really became a staple for me, and I've been working on it since then up to what I'm gonna show you today, because I really wanted to create something that was perfectly balanced so you can use it on its own for your mocktails, but I also wanted to be able to add some more ingredients for my low ABV and foolproof cocktails without throwing off the balance of the drinks. So my friends, without further ado, if you are ready, let's go make a zero, a low, and a foolproof cocktail. Let's go. So first up, we need to make our base, and we're gonna start by brewing some spices. So in a mortar, we're gonna add 2.5 grams of juniper berries, 2 grams of green peppercorns, 1.5 grams of star anise, and 4 cloves. Then we're gonna crack the spices to release all the beautiful flavors. Next, we're gonna slice a vanilla bean in two, and with the tip of your knife, you're gonna scrape all the seeds. In a glass container, you're gonna add your spices, your vanilla, 400 ml of hot water, and 50 ml of tamarind concentrate. You're gonna let that infuse until it gets back to room temperature, and while this is infusing, in another container, you're gonna add 200 ml of pineapple syrup and 150 ml of freshly squeezed lime juice. Then when your infusion is ready, in a larger container, you're gonna add 200 ml of coconut milk, to which you're gonna add your infusion and your pineapple and sour mix. Give it a gentle stir to mix all the ingredients, and leave it resting for about 15 minutes before filtering it. Then we do the usual milk punch filtration, so we're gonna pass that through a coffee filter. The first drops are going to be somewhat cloudy, so you wait until it drips clear, and then you switch vessel, report the cloudy bits over the unfiltered mixture, and let it filter all the way through. Once fully filtered, you're done. All you have to do is to bottle this up and place it in the fridge until you want to use it. A batch like this will yield about 800 ml and will last about 2 weeks when kept in the fridge. Then I love to serve this with a matcha float. It adds a lot of flavor, some texture, and a hint of green bitterness, which is perfect to balance the bright tropical notes of the cocktail. So to make it, for 2 ounces of water and half an ounce of simple syrup, I'm adding 1 teaspoon of matcha powder. I'm gonna mix this all up with a milk frother, and that's it. When it's time to make the cocktail, you pour pretty much the amount you want over ice and gently float a little bit of matcha over it. And there you have it. This is how you make the zero-proof version cocktail with my Hero to Zero cocktail base. Cheers. Wow. It's packed with tart and sweet tropical notes with a hint of botanicals. The matcha adds a lot of texture, which is often a problem with mocktails, but here the matcha really helps for this. And it also adds a beautiful sweet grassiness that's quite dry as well, which is perfect to counterbalance the sweetness of the cordial. Now, if you want to make this a low ABV, it's super simple. What I like to do is to coat the inside of my glass with about 2-3 spritz of juniper essence, add my ice, 1 ounce of dry vermouth, 2.5 ounces of my cordial, and a float of matcha. This one is brighter and sharper, and I attribute this to the acidity of the dry vermouth, which also adds more complexity with the extra botanicals along with the juniper essence, so it makes it more complex, just a little bit boozy, and it's also on the savory side a little bit more than the tropical side. So I would really recommend this for an aperitif. It is a lovely low ABV cocktail. Now, if you want to make this a foolproof drink, once again, super simple. In a mixing glass, you simply add 1.5 ounces or 45 ml of dry gin and 2 ounces or 60 ml of the cordial. Give it a brief stir this time to make sure the gin is well mixed with the cordial and also to make sure it's cold enough. And then same, you pour this over ice and float your matcha on top. This one is closer to the zero proof version in terms of flavor profile, but it's drier. The gin really shines and the botanicals cut through the tropical sweetness of the cordial to create a beautiful balance. So my friends, this is it for me today. This was 3 cocktails with 1 cordial. I hope you liked it. Leave a thumbs up if you did. Don't forget to subscribe before you go, to turn that bell if you want to make sure not to miss the next one. And until then, thank you very much again. Have a great day and see you very soon. Cheers.